Here's some helpful items to add to your homestead or
Alright
house,
everyone, now this
just
isn't
in
something
case
that's
something does come
mandatory,
up.
but if you
Better to
want to
have
have an
and not
advantage
need.
and have less
Link
of a
in
shock to
bio.
your system after SHTF, you should try and get used to doing certain things in advance to make the transition to a Mad Max lifestyle easier. First up is eating less. So in a total collapse scenario, you will have a limited supply of food. Some people will have more, some people will have less, and most people overestimate how long their food supply will last. Once the collapse happens, you will want to try and ration your food. So it's better to get used to eating less food now. So if right now you eat like 3 large meals a day and have snacks in between, maybe try and have 3 small meals or 2 regular sized meals every day. That way you can get used to functioning and doing day-to-day activities on less food. If SHTF happens and you suddenly start eating less food and at the same time you have to start chopping wood, walking long distances, working outdoors, gathering water, and all that with less calories, it's not going to be easy. So get used to all that now. And just as a disclaimer, I have to say, before you make any changes to your diet, speak to your doctor first. Instant coffee. We should try and get used to drinking instant coffee. Some people really hate it and some people like it. Now, instant coffee isn't my favorite coffee, but that's what we'll most likely be drinking after a major emergency. For me, I drink coffee with creamer and sugar, and when I drink regular coffee from a coffee machine, I can use just a teaspoon of cream and sugar. But with instant coffee, I need to put like 2 teaspoons of cream and sugar to make it drinkable. But to be honest, what I should be doing is getting used to black coffee. So after the collapse, I won't need to have to use my limited supply of
carbs,
coffee
protein,
whitener or
and
milk
vitamins,
powder
so
and
you
my
should stock
sugar.
up on it,
I'll just be
especially if
drinking
you like
black
drinking
coffee and
milk
saving my other supplies. Next is doing work or repairs on your own. If there's minor repairs or work that needs to be done around the house and you plan to hire someone, instead just try and do it on your own, especially if it's safe to do and you know you can do it but you were just being lazy. Because if something gets broken or needs repair around your house after the collapse happens, you won't be able to just call someone. You'll need to work on it yourself. And if by chance you are able to hire someone to do something after SHTF, then you will have to barter and give them something in return. If you have no other choice, that's fine. But you will end up having less supplies for yourself, so that's something you should avoid. Get used to sewing and repairing clothing rather than throwing them out. If your clothing gets damaged, you won't be able to go to H&M and just buy new stuff after the collapse. You'll need to repair your clothing, so learn how to sew now. Get used to less screen time and being entertained without electronics. You won't have internet or YouTube after SHTF, so get lots of books ready, either physical books or even downloaded ebooks. With ebooks on tablets or e-readers, you will need to have a solar charger or some type of generator to charge up your devices when SHTF happens to actually use them. Get used to walking long distances with a heavy backpack. So if you're bugging out or have to move somewhere and you're not used to walking long distances, you will get tired, and it'll be even worse if you have a heavy bug out bag with all your emergency gear, food, and water. It'll be even harder if you're wearing body armor or are carrying a child with you. So get your bug out bag and other gear and practice walking long distances with it so you can get used to it now while life is good. Cooking your own food. Now, if you're one of those people who rely on someone else to cook or always order your meals on delivery apps, you need to learn to cook your own food. There are people who will stock up on 30-40 pounds of beans and rice and have no idea how to prepare it. So learn to start cooking the foods that you have stocked up, and also keep a few recipe books that have simple recipes. If you store lots of flour, yeast, and salt, look at some simple bread recipes that you can make in Dutch ovens and write them down or print them out. Using less water. Now, not everyone needs to hear this, but if you like to take 30-minute showers, then get used to taking shorter showers because you won't have that luxury after SHTF. You'll probably have to make do with a bucket of water. Get used to eating less protein or getting your protein from alternate sources. So if you eat a lot of meat every day, you may not be able to do that after the collapse unless you have a homestead or farm with animals. You will need to get your protein from other sources like protein powder, beans, lentils, chickpeas, and stuff like that. So if you're used to a high protein diet now, then start stocking up on protein sources like the ones I mentioned and learn to cook them and make them enjoyable. Alright guys, that's it for the video. What do you think will be the most difficult thing to adjust to after SHTF? Let me know in the comments.